Strange phenomenon. Astronauts' skin gets thinner while they're in space. We know their brain shrinks, their nails fall off because of the gloves being so tight on their hands, and we also have, of course, other problems with astronauts' health. This being, of course, having to do with the circulatory system, but this has to do with the skin. A long-awaited human mission to the red planet Mars is still a long way off, as NASA plans the first manned trip to Mars in 2030s. In any case, when that time comes, just a distance of more than 55 million kilometers, that the astronauts will have to travel for at least half a year to reach Mars, not to mention the return trip poses enormous challenges, depending on how close Mars is to Earth. Now, among the many obstacles to overcome for such a long journey, of course, the health of the astronauts during such a long period in space is of the utmost importance. The strange phenomenon? Scientists in Germany are using advanced imaging techniques to try to understand this strange phenomenon, why astronauts' skin becomes thinner while they're in space. Researchers led by Professor Carsten Koenig from the Department of Biophotonics and Laser Technology at Saarland University are using high-resolution skin scans to investigate in depth the skin cells of astronauts before and after their journey into space. The experts who developed the advanced laser technology report that its spatial resolution, the ability to focus, is 1,000 times greater compared to that of ultrasound devices. So this technology even has the ability, according to Professor Koenig, to revolutionize diagnostics within hospitals. The advanced scan, he said, we use femtosecond laser pulses. We scan the skin and get signals from it, specifically fluorescent, as well as another signal called the second harmonic frequency. So with these two signals, we can build images to see the skin in high resolution. This analysis is 1,000 times better than that of ultrasound, he says. So we can now get the information we need without a biopsy, within seconds, and with fantastic resolution, Koenig emphasizes, adding that the method's applications range from histologic analysis for early cancer diagnosis to determine the effects of aging skin. Dr. Koenig, who is also director of the German company GenLab, was approached by the European Space Agency ESA to use femtosecond laser technology for the SkinBee program, which aims to understand aging mechanisms of skin that are very slow on Earth, making them almost impossible to study effectively, but speed up significantly in zero gravity. So aging skin speeds up in zero gravity, they said. As the professor says, both ESA and NASA came and asked us, if possible, to study the skin of astronauts. And this is because they wanted to know if there's any rapid skin aging process taking place in space, and exactly what changes are observed in astronauts as they work for 6 months away from Earth. And that's because many astronauts complain about skin problems. Before and after the study, Italian astronaut Luca Parminato is also one of the test animals of scientists studying the effect of space conditions on the skin. The German Alexander Gerst also participated in the experiment of the skin. So far, the research team has scanned the skin of 3 astronauts before and after their trip to space. They are the Italians Luca Parminato and Samantha Cristoforetti, as well as the German Alexander Gerst. ESA's Cristoforetti was examined before her trip to the International Space Station ISS in November 2014. When she returned to Earth after 199 days on June 11, 2015, she set a new record for a single woman in space, the previous record held by NASA's Sunita Williams with 195 days in space in 2006-2007. Cristoforetti's skin cells were examined by Dr. Koenig using the powerful laser upon her return, leading to surprising results. Skin shrinkage. We already have interesting results from the 3 astronauts we have studied so far, he said. He said it seems a lot of collagen production takes place in space. Suddenly astronauts have more collagen. This means that there is some kind of anti-aging effect, at least in the lower part of the skin, the dermis. At the same time, we discovered that the epidermis, mainly the part of the living cells, shrinks, so the skin becomes thinner, explained Professor Koenig. He added that there is still no explanation for the phenomenon. The research team expects to examine other astronauts to understand what is happening and thus protect space travelers from the shrinking of their skin. He said, we have seen that the skin thins by almost a whopping 20%. That's in 6 months. Can you imagine? What happens after a year? It's going to shrink, what, 50%? Anyway, after 6 months, the skin thins about 20%, and so far we have no explanation for this, he says. However, this happened within 6 months. The question is, if someone goes to Mars, this trip takes a year or 2 more, what will happen to their skin? Because it's obviously not going to keep getting thinner. It's not good to keep getting thinner. I'm sorry. It's not good for the skin to keep getting thinner. So if the trip to Mars takes 1 or 2 years more, that is 1.5 to 2.5 years, what's going to happen to the skin? Will they have any skin left, or is it going to be falling apart like confetti? This is terrible, obviously. This I've translated again from a Greek article, and we learned that there's a lot of changes in the human body with space travel, whether it's 6 months or longer. We've had changes in the male sperm, we have changes in the brain, changes in the circulatory system, changes in the nails fall off because, as we know, these gloves are so tight that they cut off the circulation. They can't bend their fingers properly. That's one of the things I recently uploaded. And now we have the shrinkage of the skin to almost 20% after 6 months. So as you can understand, this is a very huge problem. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.